What is the relationship between phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, and phonics? In what ways are they similar? In what ways are they different? These terms sound similar, and they are all important parts of reading development. However, they each have specific meanings. In this video, we will define phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, and phonics, and describe examples of each. We will also describe the relationship between these three areas and explain their role in later reading success. Phonological awareness is the ability to identify and manipulate sounds in spoken language. It relates to sounds only, not letters. Let's examine some components of phonological awareness along with instructional practices that can assist children with developing this awareness. Children learn to identify rhyming words through poetry, nursery rhymes, and wordplay. For example, tree, sea, and bee are rhyming words. Young children develop phonological awareness through listening and speaking. Alliteration occurs when several words grouped near one another in a phrase or sentence begin with the same sound. Sam sees Sue selling sandwiches is an example of alliteration. Teachers can point out examples of alliteration in texts and tongue twisters and can encourage students to create their own examples. Young children also learn to divide words into parts called syllables. Teachers often direct students to clap out the syllables they hear. For example, the word carpet can be divided into two syllables, car-pit. Young children also learn to divide words into their onset or initial sound and rhyme the remaining sounds. For example, in the word house, h is the onset and ouse is the rhyme. Teachers can assist students with blending onsets and rhymes too. For example, they can ask what words students hear when they combine b and at. Phonemic awareness is a subcomponent of phonological awareness. It is the ability to identify and manipulate individual phonemes, or the smallest unit of speech in spoken words. Like the phonological awareness skills we discussed previously, it relates to spoken sounds only, not letters. Let's look at some components of phonemic awareness and how teachers can assist children with developing these skills. Phoneme isolation involves isolating a single sound from within a word. Children typically learn to isolate beginning sounds first. For example, a teacher may ask, "What is the first sound you hear in mop?" Phoneme blending involves blending individual phonemes to form a word. For example, a teacher may guide students through the following sequence. Say, m, a, p. What word do you get? Map. Phoneme segmentation involves breaking apart a whole word into individual phonemes. A teacher may give each student a rubber band and guide them through the following sequence. Say, cat. What sounds do you hear? K, a, t. Students will stretch the rubber band as they say k, a, t, representing how a whole word can be stretched into its individual phonemes. Phoneme addition involves adding a phoneme to a word to create a new word. Consider this example. Say, at. Add k to the beginning. What word do you get? Cat. Phoneme deletion involves removing a phoneme from a word to create a new word. Consider this example. Say, leg. Take away the l. What word do you get? Egg. Phoneme substitution involves removing one phoneme from a word and replacing it with another. It is the most advanced of these phonemic awareness skills. A teacher may guide students through the following example. Say, mat. Change the t to a p. What word do you get? Map. Strong phonological and phonemic awareness skills are a predictor of future reading success. Understanding that spoken words are made up of individual sounds lays the foundation for the understanding that printed words are made up of individual letters, and these letters make predictable sounds. Therefore, phonological and phonemic awareness are closely related to our next topic, phonics. Phonics is an instructional practice used to teach people to read and write based on the relationship between letters and their spoken sounds. It includes the alphabetic principle, or the understanding that written letters make predictable spoken sounds. Children initially learn the predictable sounds for each individual letter. Later, they blend the sounds made by groups of letters to form words. Phonics is used for decoding or reading printed words by blending the sounds made by the letters. It is also used for encoding or writing words using knowledge of letter-sound relationships. Phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, and phonics help readers decode efficiently and develop rapid word recognition. Let's look at an example of how the relationship between phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, and phonics assists a young child with reading. Jonas, a first grader, is reading a new book. He comes to the word shop. Jonas knows that words are made up of sounds, and he knows that those sounds are represented by specific letters. He knows that SH says sh. He knows that O can say ah. He knows that P says p. He blends those sounds together to say shop aloud. Let's review what we learned in this video. Phonological awareness is the ability to identify and manipulate sounds in spoken language. Phonemic awareness is the ability to identify and manipulate individual phonemes, or the smallest units of speech, in spoken language. It is the most advanced component of phonological awareness. Both phonological awareness and phonemic awareness relate to sounds in spoken words, not letters. They are also predictors of later reading success. Phonics is an instructional practice used to teach people to read and write based on the relationship between letters and their spoken sounds. It includes the alphabetic principle, or the understanding that written letters make predictable spoken sounds. Phonics is used for both decoding, which means reading words, and encoding, which means writing words. And now, a couple of questions for you to practice what you've learned. Number 1, describe a key difference between phonological awareness and phonics. Phonological awareness is the ability to identify and manipulate sounds in spoken language. It focuses on spoken sounds, not letters. Phonics involves the relationship between printed letters and their spoken sounds. Number 2, a kindergartner has difficulty blending and segmenting phonemes. How might that affect her ability to begin decoding words in printed texts? Understanding that words can be broken into individual phonemes is an important precursor to reading development. To decode a word, students will need to understand that each letter makes a predictable sound, and that sounds are blended together to form a whole word. I hope this review was helpful. Thanks for watching, and happy studying!